Hey folks, welcome to Just Saying, and looks like it's going to be a tag team video with me, Sean Tackett, Fingo Fan, and Booty Man, my brother, Mike Wheaton Freak, the Hammer. And let's get started. First of all, I want to get a few little knick-knack news stories out of the way because they're really just bugging me. Yahoo News reports Hustler magazine wants Casey Anthony to pose naked for the magazine. Yeah, Hustler. Oh my God. I mean, Larry Flint said, you got men who say, hey, I want to see her in her birthday suit. There may be some sick individuals, but that's what life is all about. Bull crap. I mean, it's just like, who wants to see that murdering, evil woman pose? I mean, who wants to see that thing? It'd be like wanting to see Ann Coulter or Michelle Bachmann. I mean, that makes you want to puke. I mean, it'd be like wanting to ask O.J. Simpson to be back on Sports Illustrated cover. Give me a break. That loser, that evil killer, does not deserve any kind of publicity. Shame on you, Larry Flint.
No.
Next up, Bush explains slow reaction to September 11th attacks. George W. Bush is going to be on National Geographic, some kind of television, that the National Geographic channel is holding. And he said, I just didn't want to startle the children. I wanted the nation to see that I was remaining calm. Bullcrap! You could have just told those kids, you know what, kids? Something important has come up. I will be right back. You were just, you didn't want to startle the children. I mean, you were one of the worst presidents ever, and good riddance to you. I'm glad you're gone, but, slow reaction. I mean, that was just such bull crap that wasn't even funny.
One of the worst presidents,
The worst president. Thank you for correcting.
you.
Now, we're going to, tonight's subject is going to be scams. That's right. The gay marriage, if gay marriage is allowed in all 50 states, scam, and the debt crisis scam. That's right, folks. The debt crisis is a scam. And this is, this is just not an opinion. It's proof. It's reality. From www.wnyc.org, from the man called Jonathan Tassini. I'm going to read this, and I want you folks to listen real clear. Brace yourself. The phony debt debate about the government's deficit and debt crisis, which will kick into overdrive this week, will hit December 1st deadline for the Federal Deficit Commission's final recommendations. We're being told it's time to tighten our belts because the government is spending too much money. But the debate is an illusion and false. There is no government deficit or debt crisis. I believe that. We have plenty of money, or access to money, and any money issues we have are all quite manageable. This is still the richest nation in the history of the planet. Yes, it is. One day, the debt deficit will assume its rank among fairy tales such as Iraq weapons of mass destruction and trickle-down economics. Yep, look at Fort Knox, folks. Billions and trillions of dollars worth of gold there. Yeah, we're really getting in trouble, aren't we? The guy talks about, in my new book, It's Raining, We're Getting Peed On, The Scam of the Deficit Crisis, I look at the foolish statements made about the phony crisis. In 1946, for example, the country's debt to gross domestic product ratio, meaning how much we owed compared to how much we produced, was at 108.6%. In other words, the adults living right after World War II were handed the greatest debt the country ever had. But that generation experienced the greatest prosperity in the country's history, and maybe even the history of humans. Today, the debt to GOP ratio isn't even close to that. If you're wanting to wring your hands about the bigger government deficit, don't go pointing the finger at the president or Congress. Instead, you can thank Goldman Sachs, Angelo Mazzillo, Robert Rubin, and the rest of the smart boys who built financial systems that a mix of floating casino, Ponzi scheme, and fool's gold paradise, all patched together by lies and deceit, and a healthy dose of massive public indoctrination of the wonders of the free market. What's the connection? The collapse of financial system, thanks to the greed and incompetence of the people running it, is the principal reason today of a larger deficit not typical of government spending. The deficit and debt crisis is a huge distraction from the real crisis in our country: declining wages, no decent jobs for 1 in 5 Americans, and siphoning the great wealth of the country into the hands of the few. There are 4 easy ways to bring in more money, not to deal with the phony debt crisis, but simply because we can do better: stop funding immoral wars, significantly raise taxes on the very rich, Eisenhower-era proposal that goes far beyond anything the Democrats are suggesting, ask Wall Street to pay a fair share of taxes, and finally, truly deal with our health care costs by getting rid of the insurance industry that kills Americans and enact a Medicare for all system. Presto, trillions of dollars appear. Sometimes I am asked to appear on Talking Head on cable news television shows and stuff. Inevitably, the chatter turns to tax fairness. The anchors raise the specter of class warfare. The threat to the very rich, their obscurity low tax rates may have to go up a smidgen. I usually smile and reply, "You're right. The class warfare in this country, and your class is winning. We can't let this happen. Amen." The debt crisis is garbage. The National Enquirer speaks more truth than what's going on in this country, folks. We need to wake up. Next up.
Well, actually, I got a thing to...
Okay, and Michael's going to be talking about something, and then I'm going to be back with the fallacy of the gay marriage in 50 states phony thing.
Yeah, this is from The Nation, my favorite news magazine, news source. Great. Continuing on with taxes. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. And the debt, they call it about the debt-selling delusions. Editorial from Katrina Vanden Heuvel. Great lady. Okay. What's worse is that rather than being chastised, the GOP has been empowered by an establishment media obsessed with debt and deficits. When Republicans decry tax increases, it is all too rare to hear the media respond with facts or to offer historical perspective. In the 1950s, the corporate sector accounted for an average of 27.6% of all federal revenue. In 2010, it was 8.9%. And individual tax rates for the riches are now lower than in all but 5 of the past 79 years. Okay, that was from the CBO where they got that information. And about who pays the most taxes, listen to this. This is from Big Corporation USA, Blogspot.com. Low-income household pay substantial federal taxes other than income tax. Bottom line pay 8.8. Second quarantine pay 9.5. Middle quarantine pay 9.4. Fourth quarantine pay 9.5. Top quarantine 5.7. And the very top 1.6%. Percentage of income paid in federal excise taxes in 2007. The bottom paid 1.6%. The second quarantine 1.0. The middle 0.8. The fourth the 0.7. One of the top 5 0.4 and the top 1% 0.1. And state and local taxes from 2010. The bottom 20 paid percent paid 12.3%. The second paid 11.6. The third middle paid 11.2. The fourth paid 11.1. The next to the top paid 10.7, and the top paid 7.9. So when people say that the rich do not pay taxes, or that that they pay the majority of the taxes, it is a bunch of crocking bull crap. We are the ones paying taxes. Why don't you pieces of filth garbage pay your share? What have you sacrificed? You don't need to eat lobster 5 nights a week, you pieces of filth, and you don't need 10 freaking houses like Gary said in one of his videos, like John McCain. Sacrifice, you filthy pieces of garbage, murdering pukes.
Thanks, Mike. Now, we got...
Sorry about that.
No, hey, I understand. We got through one fairy tale fantasy, the debt scam, which is a fantasy. Now let's get to another fantasy about... Oh, and by the way, real quick, let me say this. For all you Republicans out there, the debt. Nobody talked about the debt when Bush was president, did they? Bush was the one who caused all this debt stuff. How many people actually talk about the debt at the dinner table? No, it's can I get my kid to the doctor? Can I take care of my parents? Can I put food on the table? Nobody talks about the debt except for the filthy rich, and it's all a fallacy. Okay, and now to another story that we're going to move on that dealing with a scam is... You ever heard of these conservatives, Republicans, when it comes to gay marriage? if the gays get married, then it's going to just, be dogs and cats getting married, and cousins and cousins getting married, and all immorality will break loose. Folks, that's just kind of unbelievable. That the Republicans are like, well, Sean, how is this a scam? Well, folks, I'll tell you how it's a scam. Because, number one, let me get something real quick. New York just passed the gay marriage bill. But that doesn't mean everything's okay for gays, and I don't know how it is in the other 5 states, but in New York, it's okay to get married. But folks, even then, they have to file for taxes separately. In New York, if the partner dies, the other partner doesn't get anything. All the estate and everything goes to the relatives. So there's still a far way to go for gays to be treated equally in marriage and everything. But, marriage is a step in the right direction, in New York and stuff. But, 6 states have legalized gay marriage. And they say that, if all gay marriage was legalized in the United States, that, it would be cousins marrying cousins. Well, folks, the scam about this is, how many, it's already happening. They're like, what do you mean, Sean? Do you know how many states? You can Google this. You can go to Wikipedia. If you can go to Britannica. You can go to any website to look this up. This is just not a liberal website. I got this from Cousin Marriage Resources. That's right, folks. Do you know how many states in the United States allow for cousin and cousin marriage? Let's count them, shall we? States that allow cousin and cousin marriage. Alabama, yes, not a liberal state. That's weird. Alaska, not a liberal blue state. You think with the gay marriage states, the 6 states that allow gay marriage, you think that the cousin versus cousin thing would have gone crazy. Arizona. Now, Arizona is permitted when couples will not bear children. California, Colorado, Connecticut, Georgia, Hawaii. Sean, you're not stopping. I know. Illinois, permitted where couples will not bear children. Indiana, yeah, Indiana. Maine, but genetic counseling required prior to marriage. Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, prohibits double first cousins only. Rhode Island, South Carolina, Tennessee, Utah, permitted where couples will not bear children. Vermont, Virginia, and Wisconsin, permitted where couples will not bear children. 25 out of half the states in this country, 25 out of 50 states, let cousins marry cousins. Wow! And, there's only 6 states. 6 states that allow gay marriage. And according to the conservatives, if you get gay marriage everywhere, cousins be married cousins. Folks, that's the scam. It's happening over half the states. So what's it going to hurt for gays to get married? Really? You want to talk about immorality? According to the conservatives, half this country is going to hell in a handbasket according to the Republicans. But there's no gay marriage except in the states of Massachusetts, Connecticut, Iowa, New Hampshire, New York, Vermont, plus Washington, D.C., and the Colic Indian tribe in Oregon. Well, then how can this be if there's no gay marriage in the other states? I don't understand. How can cousins versus cousins? What happened? That's the scam, folks. Gay marriage does no immorality. None. It doesn't cause dogs and cats to get married. It don't cause people to get married to dogs. Cousins and cousins, it's in half the country. So it doesn't cause that. This cousin and cousin thing's been going on far long before the gay marriage thing. So there's another big scam by the Republicans. The debt is a scam. Gay marriage causing incest and dogs getting married. It's a scam, folks. And I tell you, America, we need to wake up. Michael, is there anything you would like to add?
Yeah, I'll make the final statements.
Okay.
One of the reasons I started doing these videos was I got sick and tired of the lies and bull crap. I don't hear truth on most of the news. I don't. And the truth is, there is no debt crisis. And the truth is, gays getting married would not lead to incest. It's already happening in a lot of places. So, for you conservatives who shout, I want my family values, shut up, okay? You don't know what family values are. Goodbye.